Hi YouTubers, welcome to the first in a series called The Commands of God. In the New Testament particularly, there are Greek verbs which are in the imperative mood, and these are actually commands. So this is a way that God actually highlights the important commands, the important verbs for us. So the first verse we're going to look at actually has two Greek commands in it, and that is Romans 12:2, which says, "Do not be conformed to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." So the two commands there are, don't be conformed, I've written that in bold, and be transformed. So you mustn't be conformed to the pattern of this world, or as J.B. Phillips says, don't let the world squeeze you into its mold. And secondly, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So the big idea in the context of the book of Romans is that you don't be conformed to the sinful pattern of this world. If you see Romans 1:25-32, you'll understand what that is. Instead, be transformed into the image of Jesus. Be conformed to the image of his Son, as Paul says it. So become Jesus' disciple. So if you have a closer look at those two commands, you'll see, if you have, for example, Bible Hub, and that's a free app. If you select interlinear and you go to the passage Romans 12:2, you can look at each of the verbs and they have a coding. So oddly enough, they both have the same coding, V-P-M-M/P-2P. Looks kind of complicated, but actually all that means is that V stands for as a verb, P stands for the present continuous tense, M stands for imperative mood, which means command, and the M/P means it's in the middle or passive voice, and then it's in the second person, which is you, and P for plural. So you don't be conformed, if you like. So the second verb is the same. And if you look at the second verb, it's metamorphose. Comes from the word that we have, metamorphosis. Don't be changed, or rather be changed into the image of Christ. So if you have a phone and you download Bible Hub and you select interlinear, you can also have a look and see which verbs are actually in the imperative mood. In other words, which verbs are commands, and which verbs are merely descriptive, if they're, for example, in the indicative mood. So looking at 1.4, present continuous tense and passive voice. So those two commands, don't be conformed and be transformed, are both present continuous tense, which means that you are to continually not be conformed, don't be conformed, don't be conformed, continually don't be conformed. This is not a once-off thing in the Christian life. Secondly, you must be transformed, continually be transformed. Again, not a once-off. So that's the idea of the present continuous tense in Greek. Secondly, the passive voice. You'll notice that don't be transformed, and secondly, be transformed. So the translation is showing you that this is not something that you actually have. You can't be conformed or be transformed as such. It's something which is going to happen to you. You're either going to be conformed to the image of the world, or you're going to be transformed into the image of Christ. There is one thing, however, that you can do and that is you can renew your mind. So if you renew your mind and read, hear, meditate on and believe the truth of God's word, that is mind renewal. That will stop you from being